Alright, so as you can see, we are now back trying to work on the performance assessment. So let's go ahead, log in as Sandra again, our self-service stuff. Log in as Sandra, our self-service stuff, like that. Okay, so once we are logged in as Sandra, remember from the image, please do ignore that image. Do ignore that image. Okay. All right, so we go ahead and say new appraisal. This we say new appraisal. We'll say this starting date is maybe January 1, and then we describe the nature of the job. Just allow me to copy some text here, some random text. Okay, so just copy that and paste here the description of the job. Remember, we are doing a simulation. Okay, so once we are here, we now create the targets. So some of the targets here that we'll create, about 3 of them. So we have some sections that we have. Let's start with ICT, and the weight for ICT is 25. The target is 10, and then the notes here will say ability to utilize the institutional ERP. Okay, ability to utilize the institutional ERP scores you a 25% in performance, and it will be marked out of 10. So let's go ahead and save that. Next, we're going to say, okay, next is general. We'll say teamwork, ability to work in teams, ability to work with teams. Okay, ability to work with teams, and here the weight is again 25%. 25%, and then it will be marked out of 10. We save. Next, we add this, which is again under general, and then we say this one, the weight is 50, and the target again is marked out of 10, and this is now ability to work with less supervision. Go ahead and save. So you can see that the weight now has been distributed 100%, which allows us to proceed with this particular assessment. So we go ahead and say mark as confirmed. Good. Once we say mark as confirmed, we then send it to our supervisor, who happens to be this one. So we go ahead and say assign next actor, and here the system will automatically select the next actor, and here then we just go ahead and say okay, fine, let's put in notes. Okay, so we can just say example notes. So these are notes. What you put here will be guided by the institution. Let's just use the example note for this. So you see that the supervisor will receive an email in production, and then this is the stuff is done because they have managed to put in all their targets for the year in assessment. Thank you very much. So then from here we now log in as the supervisor. We do that, log out, log in as the supervisor, and here go ahead and do that. Okay, select that, connect to the selected. All right, you can see we have a flag on appraisals, so we go to appraisals and we have that flag there. So you go ahead, you can see it's under checking stage. You go there, you read through, you can see ability to do that, the work, and all this. So we expect that this is done accordingly. The description has been done accordingly. So at this stage we can actually go ahead and we can even describe this. In case you want to make some changes to this, you can okay, no. In case you want to make some changes to this, you can, but In this case, I just assume that everything is okay, so we mark as checked. So once we mark as checked, okay, we should be able to come back later, log in as that, yes, log in as a supervisor again. You come back now later when this assessment is due. You select the database. You'll see that under you still have some issues pending under appraisal. Go ahead, click on here, and then start grading the stuff. So you go ahead, check the first one, ability to use the ERP. Let's give them 9 out of 10. So out of 10, you give them 9. And here you say excellent. Okay, save. The next one is ability to work in teams. Then you say good. The score is 8. Good. Then ability to work with less supervision. You go ahead, click on that. Here you say excellent. Excellent, they are good at working. And here we say 10 out of 10. We save. Right, so as you can see, the system has given this a score of 92.50% after this. So it means we can now go ahead and say we send it back to Sandra. Before we say mark as reviewed, we send it back to Sandra just to comment. So we send it back to Sandra, as you can see. So please comment, please comment, please comment. We do that. So Sandra can log in as Sandra, log in as Sandra. Okay, log in as Sandra, log in as Sandra, pick the training, connect, and then go to the appraisals. Once you are there, then please go ahead and say okay, my comments is fair assessment, fair assessment. Okay, it goes back to the supervisor, submit. As you can see, messages are exchanged at every stage. Let's log back in the supervisor. Okay, so we log back in as the supervisor. We do that, we do that, we do that, and okay, there. Then once we are here, we go to appraisals, we find this one, and then since Sandra has responded now, fair assessment from Sandra back to the supervisor, they can now go ahead and mark as reviewed. Okay, once they do that, they can now push it to the countersigner, which in this case is picked automatically. So just example notes. Example notes. There we go. And once this is done, as you can see in production, this is going to send a message. So from here, we've sent it to the next person. So let's log in as that countersigner and be able to countersign the assessment. Okay, so they look it like that, and then they access this, and then go ahead, do that, and then from here we go to the appraisals. Okay, so you can see the appraisal you're looking at. These are so far the processing that happened. It started with Sandra. We sent it to the supervisor. The supervisor returned it to Sandra. Sandra commented, sent it back to the supervisor. Now the supervisor has sent it to the countersigner. So at this stage, the countersigner can say mark as approved. Okay, mark as approved, and then send it to the final person. So as you can see, the system already reads that. So again, example notes. Example notes. So go ahead and submit. Okay, so once this is done, you can now see that this has gone to the final approver. So we go ahead and log in as the final approver. We do that, come and sign in. We do that, and immediately we log in. We log in like that. We pick this. We do that, and then at this stage, we are going to go to the appraisals. And once here, you can see that the appraisal is now at closing stage. Be able to read through everything here, and then just go ahead and say mark as closed. So the last person can mark as closed to show that they were part of this process. They've actually seen everything. And now if you open the PDF now, you see that the PDF is going to show, and it will show the details of the stuff all the way like that. Then under ICT, under the ICT section, this is what we've achieved. Under the general section, these are the targets and how they were marked, and the average score 92.50%. And then this is the job description here, and then from there we have all the actors. So let me walk you through this. It started with Sandra, who then send it to the supervisor, okay, for checking. Okay, the supervisor checked, returned it back to Sandra, and please comment after they did the assessment. Then this one commented, fair assessment. Then from there, it moved on to there and say example notes. Some of the examples here may be things like we need retraining, we need all these kind of things. And these are all the actors who acted and what time they acted. Alright guys, so this ends our video on performance assessment. Thank you very much. See you in the next video.